A lot of very powerful picks on the side of KT, and a lot of comfort as well, especially when you see Dr. on his Ezreal and Cuz, Skarner, and then, of course, you have to mention BDD on the Azir by both of our mid laners as well. First grub does go down. Peanut should be able to grab the second one pretty comfortably as Delight's going to move over. There's the flash out as Peanut makes his way in. The Weaver's Wall does deliver Zeka to the area. Flash out from Peter as well as the seismic shove has to be avoided with a headbutt. And so Peter knows that he is just going to go down. That's first blood going over to Viper of all people.
To make sure that everyone else gets out, but will still be this grub going over to Hanwha Life Esports, and a bit of a rocky one there for KT.
Really nicely done. I think the rocks went down a little bit early there because I thought Peter could have headbutted his way out. Yeah. Might have had a few cooldown issues. As he's just going to get on in here. Zayas in a bit of trouble. He's burning down, but the rest of HLE, they turn up immediately, and it's a double kill for Viper. So all of a sudden, they've got the feats of warfare and like a killing spree for their main character.
The Kai'Sa was heading back towards the bottom lane, I guess. I mean, they had a lot of vision topside. They had a ton of wards up there. Hanwha Life did. They were like, all right, this is our moment. This is our angle. We're going to trap them here. They probably didn't necessarily expect they were going to full commit, but because they did, they get those kills. They get the dragon as well, plus the grubs.
Well, there's a double pulverize here from Peter, because if at first you don't succeed, you just go for it again. Cuz drives in, misses Delight on that one, and they look for Peanut. They are going to be able to pick him up there with the Impale. BDD comes in, the Sand Soldiers get the work done, and they are at least making some plays.
To take a single one. He does have Smite, has a little bit of backup.
They want to try and deny these if they can, or at least try and find a team fight. Peanut going to be able to grab the first one. That is Void Might's activated. If
now,
HLE.
Yeah, now that Peanut's used this Smite, Cuz should be able to get at least one.
Yeah, and HLE can just run away if they'd like to. There's no need to fight for this unless they'd really fancy themselves in that fight. Perfect taking a lot of damage. Zeka is just, toying with him here on the bottom side of the map. Cuz should be able to grab this, and he doesn't. It's Peanut, picks that one up for himself, seeded over to HLE. And Peanut just seems to be starting any objective he would like. Doctom goes back, gets himself a Trinity Force, but unfortunately he's not going to be there for this. And of course, a singular Ocean Drake does not mean too much, but you're a very long way away from a soul, and that is going to be just the secure for Peanut. But are they going to give up this Herald? As right now, they're looking for a pincer maneuver. Viper shows himself, though, and he does a lot of damage. As Doctum trying to offer what he can. Peanut throws down the ulti very early on here. They once again find themselves milling about, and the objective goes down. And now Zayas throws out the Shock Blast. Seismic Shove going to need to be avoided with a flash.
Give it up, sort of. They basically ultimately did, and now BDD is in big danger.
He is. Seismic Shove is going to be avoided. The Emperor's Divide comes out but doesn't hit anyone, and Viper is extremely fed. Rift Herald coming into the mid lane here as well as Peter looks for the trample. Zayas in a little bit of trouble here, and he will be going down. Doctom getting his first kill of the game.
A ton of damage onto this top inner as well, so lots of value here for Hanwha Life Esports. I don't think Zayas should have necessarily died there, but I don't think they feel too bad when they're going to grab this inner.
Well, at least Cuz is pretty tanky. He does throw Delight into the wall. Viper getting hit around, and that's going to stop him from just destroying this Scorpion. Oh, man.
He's a well-rounded, insanely talented mid laner. One of our best.
Yep, it's absolutely the case. As the Mega Blast Cone going to get a flash, as Peter is able to force that one out of Peanut. Nicely done. Having Peter and Peanut in the same game is kind of frustrating.
Yes.
Because they sound really similar. Speaking of Peanut, he's going to get pulverized by Peter. He looked for a little bit of an engage here. As you can see, Perfect does still have the equalizer. They are in a choke point. Press the equalizer. There it is. Emperor's Divide onto 2 and KT. They found a proactive play, but BDD is in the ground, and the Impale goes entirely wide. Viper now in the driver's seat, as Doctom gets behind the rest of his team, and HLE, they do manage to find an extra kill in the exchange.
I feel like there were so many moments to equalize there, which would have given them a better opportunity, but they wanted to wait for a big combo with BDD, but they waited so long that by the time that combo went down, and even though the play was heroic, so much work had been done from Hanwha Life, and Viper can follow up so easily. Sitting on 2 items, that's going to be the third and sole point dragon here for Hanwha Life.
Able to grab himself a bloody pedal on his way through.
All right, got the
Peter going for some more plays. Peter and Peanut fighting once again, frustratingly enough, as the Flame Spitter will burn him down. Doctom with a cheeky Mystic Shot to steal the kill away from the rest of his teammates. Seismic Shove going to throw the Scorpion around, but Cuz is getting tankier and tankier.
Pretty inopportune moment to die for a Scuttle Crab.
Oh, this would be a way for KT to lose the game, and that is going for an Otacon that they have no right to go for, but the rest of HLE are just looking to destroy structures.
Yeah, I think
so. It will be the Otacon going down.
Yeah, the Otacon does go over, and a lot of Petals are going to go over. They
Look
don't
at
have
this farming.
They don't have too many objectives to get buffed with this Otacon.
So that is that's high efficiency.
Yeah, it's 100% ult uptime.
Oh yeah.
They are going to lose. It looks like this mid turret here. Good zoning by KT. It's going to be a teleport from Zeus to try to save it.
Well, Weaver's Wall going to come in here from Zeka. That's going to split up the fight momentarily, but Perfect will be able to join the rest of his team. Another P name, really? Didn't even think about it. That is also a bit frustrating. Teleport is going to be towards this bottom lane.
So far away.
Rest of KT now in position to go for something. Weaver's Wall just to break this one up, Cuz not electing to go over it, but he can just move in if he wants to. It's going to be the steal from Cuz, and Peanut down pretty low now as well. Has to use another ultimate right at the last second, and is looking to possibly get out of the way as Cuz flashes in, misses another ulti, and Perfect says, my flamethrower requires no aiming. And in fact, KT, they require no aiming either. They got Doctom now. He's able to help grab another kill.
For KT, that's the one team fight I was talking about. KT just need one fight, one moment. They can get right back into this game, and they got it. So many tools used for Hanwha Life to deny entry for KT. They played it so slow. They just sat on their poke. They put up the Weaver's Wall, but still extremely scaling champions.
Not to mention the fact that they have so many turrets to take down. KT, that was a game-winning play. Of course, it's KT. So every game is throwable.
So Hearts just going 2 in mid, 3 on the bottom lane. BDD rips through turrets with this build so easily and can use the Sun Disc as a bit of a bastion. He can fall back to with Cuz, who's so tanky and has Impale. Just no way to collapse onto BDD. They push hard in the bottom lane. Duckdom's poke is really starting to hit. I mean, he's on 3 items now.
Yeah, Weaver's Wall. They are looking for Perfect here as the Seismic Shove goes wide. Peter has found Peanut once again, though, as Cuz making his way and finds a rock onto Viper. Zeka is incredibly low as Doctom's looking for him into the backline, goes to Light. He's almost just dead. It's a beautiful arcane shift, though. Doctom will get audaciously charged, does go down, but the Emperor is here and has done some division. It's just not quite enough, but they've taken down the Kai'Sa. BDD trying to kite, but he gets stunned up and will be taken down. Zeka manages to complete the ace.
Not taking the advantage. This is my game to lose. It was my game to lose. And with this ace, I mean, they could just go straight into the base.
Is it? No, it's not game, right?
It's not quite game. Perfect will have his ultimate, so he can clear a wave. They only have this top wave to play through, but they can just get this inhibitor.
Delight is certainly the man to watch out for. His Rakan has been fantastic just in history, but also in this game. As Peter with a Mega Blast going looking for an angle. They do get on top of Peanut. As the Impale comes on through, it is going to be the soul lockdown for Peanut, finally finding himself a smite. As now Viper gets flashed on, immediately goes into that Zhonya's, but now he's out of position. The Pulverize is good. It is the mid laner going down for KT, but the rest of the team is fighting well. Flash comes out from Cuz, and Zeka is now the carry that HLE are going to be relying on. That and Zeus, who is raining these shock blasts down. Meanwhile, KT's base is also exploding. Another Zhonya is going to be utilized, this time by Perfect, who wants to try and kill Zeka, but it's not going to work. And HLE find themselves another fight and a soul off the back of it, as Doctom and Cuz licking their wounds, trying to keep their base alive.
Yeah, the top wave will naturally push, and they'll just demolish this turret instantly here. BDD up in 20. I don't think Hanwha Life are looking for the end here, but they have so much control from this thing.
Well, a Baron is now on the cards as Doctom taking some more skill shots, as we can see. Peanut, though, goes in, gets on top of the Ezreal. Arcane Shift gets him out of there. The Weaver's Wall not quite doing enough here for HLE right now. Seismic Shove is good onto BDD, though, as Zeka has to flash to get out of the way of this equalizer. BDD's burning, and he does go down. Now Viper getting into the backline. I don't know about this one, but he's still able to get these autos off. Supercharger to make sure he's in the right position. Cuz is going to get eviscerated, and KT, that was their last breath, as HLE will now push in for the win.
Oh, BDD is not happy. They had such a good angle in this game. It all went wrong in the bottom lane, and Hanwha Life took it back. Viper with an incredible Kai'Sa game.
Oh, yeah. Got fed early, and it looked like KT had found an angle, and obviously they didn't, because the Nexus goes down. HLE now on the board with their first win of LCK 2025.
I do feel like it's going to take a lot of finesse, but if piloted correctly, you use your shield at the right time, and you dash into the circle, you've got a lot of ways to outplay the Gwen, and Zeus is obviously the more experienced top laner. Do have Peter.
Oh dear. Okay, handshake going to go straight through as Peter does manage to snare them. And also the Blooming Burst doing some work there as Cuz is moving up. Bailout now down, but it's on to Viper, and that's going to mean that Delight has to flash, pounce forward. First blood for Cuz.
Cuz, the spear accuracy has been great in this second game.
He used up all of his misses on his impales in the last game, okay?
That was really well played. Excellently baited as well.
Some needlework here towards the bottom side as the ulti to come out from Zeus. Let's see whether he can actually win this one as the extra healing helping Perfect out. So a trade of ultimates, and now, okay, Zeus still wanting more. He's landing all these buttons. One more, and the flash forward's gonna do it, and Perfect, you saw that.
Yeah,
Didn't like how that one worked out.
Hands right off the keyboard into almost a little angry clap there. Not happy with how that went for sure. And up here on the top side, Hanwha Life getting back control as well.
He just needed to flash earlier, right? And I think that's why he was frustrated, as he pressed the flash button anyway. Good handshake is going to come in onto Cuz, but BDD is turned up, and Delight is once again in trouble. Another kill comes forward, as that's the decoy that they're fighting for the moment, and KT is going to be okay with this. Zeka with a buster shot now, built up for himself, not going to connect those chains. Plate gold going over to BDD, that is that advantage. Only extending. As okay, Arrow going to connect here onto Peanut. A Cyclone comes in, and Cuz has to flash away the Pop Blossom. A little bit disjointed, and Peter is going to be taken down. There's kill number one for Viper. Hostile takeover going to come on through, and Cuz able to pounce over the wall. Doctor getting to relative safety, and now the spears are coming in.
There yet between these two. Wasn't there with Wei, and a bit of a late addition with Peter. Hasn't quite figured it out yet.
Is Doctor gonna be okay?
He does not have ult, but he is Ash.
Moved quite slowly, and no flat. He's so dead. Like, I feel like there was a ward there the whole time. Like,
yeah.
Oh no, it was a control ward. It was a control ward in the brush for HLE, so maybe you didn't see it there.
Yeah, I don't think he saw. I don't think he quite saw, but still a bit of a dangerous situation. But wants to push the advantage. Gets a plate, but dies for it. So now 2 kills to the Ambessa.
There's a teleport in as well. Peter's moving over as there's another arrow and another mid laner using their flash. But can he avoid the rest of it? And the answer is yes. Still going to be this turret falling lower and lower. And remember, this is 5 grubs for KT. Doctor, once again in an awkward spot. Good sidesteps. He's still dead. As once again, Doctor out of position will get rendered down. This turret does fall though.
First turret. So that's a big win here for KT Rolster that they need so desperately right now. Vicinity, they probably would have committed a little bit harder there. Going to cost BDD some CS, some damage to this turret. They don't get the turret, but if they had stayed, Peanut just carries that as BDD. Whoa.
Oh dear. Well, Peter is moving on up, finds a Pop Blossom.
There's an angle.
Yep, Spear is going to connect. Gorgeously done. And it's the buster shot to bust Zeka's skull.
It might just be better off letting Perfect take a turret bottom side and giving this one.
Looks like that might be what they're trying to do as the teleport comes in from Zeus to put him in good position.
Yeah, you got a TP, just let this one go.
There is a lot of just on-demand vision for KT with Hawkshot, with the Shape Splitter, and all that sort of stuff. KT can just kind of find out what's going on in almost every area. But there's also a lot of clones in this game, which makes my job very difficult.
I think this was the right call from KT. You know, you've got a Gwen on the side.
Yeah.
Take out that whole turret. You got the teleport from Zeus 3 times. This time he survives with Viper's Fate's Call there. Did have his flash as well, but you'd rather keep that one. But you could see the angles here. BDD has such a huge lead over Zeka right now. And
this is feats of strength.
Yeah, this is huge. They're going to teleport BDD mid. I think they are going to look for the contest, but it's so slow.
Yeah, Hawkshot is going to fly over. I think Cuz getting the bad news here, knows that he's not going to be able to get in. So that's some upgraded shoes here for HLE. And BDD does manage to grab this turret. Does the continue walking forward strategy to avoid the arrow that was hijacked.
Potentially in this next dragon fight, but they bought themselves some additional time.
Ooh, Arrow going to be flying into Delight here, looking to try and get another Fate's Call, but that's on cooldown, so Delight is just dead. Peter's the one that actually picks up the kill, even though the explosive charge was there. But KT, another great pick.
Grab this Herald drop and even potentially turn this into an Otacon take if KT are slow to respond. Remember, Perfect not showing on the map once he clears this wave, and it's going to take him a while to get up, though.
Yeah.
Hanwha Life have so much tempo here.
Hawkshot flying over. Peanut spotted, starting this Otacon. And remember, it is dangerous, especially when KT can just take pot shots at them. Let's see whether Peter can line up a good engage angle. The Shape Splitter coming on in now. Spears still just trying to find the mark, and KT setting themselves up. Zeka now with that explosive charge on him, but there's the public execution. Pop Blossom going to be used, and BDD trying to get himself over the wall. Buster shot to get rid of Zeus, and it's now a cacophony, but KT are winning it. There's the bailout, but it is not enough, and KT just put HLE in the ground.
This was a very disastrous fight for Hanwha Life. Just wins the fight for KT. Big error of judgment there from Hanwha Life. I thought Peanut was just going to sit back and defensively deny them entry.
I like the gusto from the man. He's so easy to like, you know, as a player.
Absolutely.
So honestly, any game that KT wins, it's always a Peter angle. It's just how it goes. And the Infernal Drake getting aggressive. HLE getting chunked out by just the Dragon alone. But look at Zeus finding this flank angle. Gets a Cinder for the speed up as well. Remember, the public execution going to be such a big deal. And BDD already just jumping on in. That is going to be Peanut locking down the Drake. KT, though, they're looking for this Ambessa, who's just thrown around like a ragdoll. There's a Pop Blossom landing on a 2. Viper nailed by the arrow, and 3 are on the ground in an instant.
And the good news for Hanwha is you got the Dragon. The bad news is you got wiped again. And I think it was a great call by BDD to chase the Zeus on the flanking Zeus, chase the Ambessa there, deny his entry, keeps Duckdom super safe there in that situation. And that's a team fight win here with longer deaths, your respawn timers here, and a Gwen Tristana. They could just try to push to end. They've got enough minions here.
Oh,
it's gonna be a tough defense.
Okay, yeah, let's not get overly enthusiastic. There's a huge Pop Blossom from Zeka. It's just not enough to actually take anyone down. The first Nexus turret falls. Peanut using his decoy effectively, but the mid laner does fall. KT decide that one Nexus turret is enough. Flying through, Kuz able to steal away the enemy blue buff there as well. It's going to be helpful as they set up this poke. But KT, in the meantime, have been able to just take down this Dragon. Everyone able to dash over the wall.
Yeah, they just sieged him up, bought enough space, used the mid push.
Trying to grab that Grump from downtown.
I mean, they have vision cleared out. They're playing super far forward here. Look at how blind Hanwha are, trying to find an angle.
Oh, well, Arrow is going to connect onto Kuz. They're going to blow him up or attempt to, but he goes golden. I just don't know whether he's going to be able to get out. The hostile takeover, it almost actually gets him out of there, but now the fight has been engaged. The Pop Blossom is decent, and now it's BDD looking for the resets. He locks down Zeka. He's already found Peanut, and Duckdom goes down, but BDD is the one that means everything for KT. Perfect now has the matter in his own hands, but everyone's dashing away, and HLE! Oh no, KT now left in the dust. That's the ace. And Viper, even though he is this weird lethality Callista, he's still lethal, ladies and gentlemen.
Down, but watch Viper. Viper will carry when you give him these opportunities. Bailout gives him just enough to kill the other carry. Happened.
Yep. Beautifully done. And now KT, they're back on the map. Of course, there's not a whole lot that was picked up outside of the Baron, as hostile takeover is not going to be enough to make sure that Delight survives. So that is going to put a dampener in this Baron. It is already under just the default gold that you get from killing it. And so KT still in the driver's seat. They still have a gold lead. And the Arrow is going to sail through and lock down Duckdom. Another defensive Pop Blossom. Peanut cannot do anything.
Can't get in there. Peter says no.
Like, everyone has to be in line, right? Like, everyone has to engage at the same time. Otherwise, it doesn't work for HLE, and then you just, all of this damage gets rained down on top of you and you can do nothing about it.
Position to engage. That's still a Callista on a Dragon.
It's still going to be very hard to stay on this Dragon, but they do so much damage to it. Kuz really going to have to try and land this fight. Remember, there's a Rend. As okay, Pop Blossom stolen by Zeka, doesn't do too much, but they get the Infernal Soul still. Look at this damage. BDD with the Buster Shot saves his own life as Peter trying to get in there. One with the Pop Blossom, but it's not quite enough. Still BDD free hitting over the wall. It's a double for Perfect, who goes golden, and now Zeus going to be taken down. BDD with the triumph, stays alive. There's an ace, and I think KT may have just brought us to a game 3.
You're not sure, but you want to believe.
You're never sure with KT.
I think there's a pretty even higher statistical likelihood that KT wins the game from here.
There is a high chance that if this Nexus explodes, KT will have an opportunity to go to a game 3. That is likely happening, and in fact, it is. KT with their first win of 2025.
I love Pantheon into Neferi because you can just simply shut her down. She only has one untargetable. She can only W once, and once you lock her down as she's trying to set up for that reset with her ultimate, she just becomes a bit of a sitting duck. She's not tanky.
Ooh, Cuz going to be moving over, get some vision down. And Doctom only level 5, so no bullet times over the wall or anything like that. So Cuz now moving in, gets stunned up, and my god, goes untargetable for now. Already, Delight taking a fair bit of damage because is out of this fight as well. Peter, and they dive on top of Zeka. He's just completely left to the wolves, or to the dogs, or whatever they are. And now Perfect is moving forward. He's so strong, goes all out onto Peanut, but they're also targeting Delight as well. He's under 100, he knows that he's dead. As Zeus dives in, can he be the champion of HLE? And it looks like he may just be. BDD now just trying to kite him as best he can. It's not going to be enough, but Zeus now may have overextended. Perfect slows him down with a Q. Cuz wanting to get one, but he's obviously got that Counter-Strike back available again, so they're not killing Zeus. As it's on its way up.
I feel like that's when KT is winning, though. Right now, we're kind of at an even state. Zeus is going to grab a plate. We're grouped up on these grubs again. Difficult to enter here against this Orianna. The ball was well placed. Teleport committed.
That's going to be 3. Chains of Corruption comes down, though, and in goes Delight straight into the back of the pit. That's going to be Peanut evening out the grub count, and over the wall goes Doctom. Now Perfect looking for his opportunity. This could be massive for this Cassante, but Zeka takes his opportunity and just locks them down. Delight, he has the bleed on him, but I just don't know whether it's going to be enough to kill him. It's close, but not enough. Not objectively my favorite.
There you go. KT may tend to agree, though, as they are going to start this one up, and they have, once again, with BDD, Orianna ball control here in the choke. Does relinquish it, though.
Yeah, Cuz looking for a little bit of an engage opportunity. So is Peter. As the Glacial Prison goes wide, the Leona is going to go down. And now Peanut looking for more. Untargetable, though, is Cuz, as his doggos take a bit of the damage. Otherwise, it is fine. 20 CS in the lead as the Cassante.
Peter? Okay, that was scary.
Yeah. Okay, as I was singing his praises, it's possible that Perfect is dead. He goes all out. Let's see whether he can get out, and he does. Turret shot taken by Zeus, but that, unfortunately, the teleport a little bit slow. Shockwave comes in, and that's not a Nocturne! That's an Neferi, and it still works!
Looked like maybe he was in danger, but he emits the recall, which means they can't actually punish initial play.
He's a bit frustrated about dying earlier, and manages to nail the Q this time around. Doesn't have all out, so I think Zeka is going to survive because, like, this guy just does not do that much. Oh, well, never mind. Maybe he does do the damage. Perfect's like, I'm tanky. Looking for the Q. Does not quite get it, but man.
Perfect. If you flash for that, you get him.
Peter can kill him. He's managing to land the Solar Flare, and he's looking to tank this one up. One more turret shot is almost enough to kill him because, man, you lose Eclipse and Aftershock, and you're taking a big chunk, but calculated.
And Perfect doesn't keep his flash. As Peanut looks like he's just barely going to miss.
Oh my god, are they both going to get out? Well, no, Perfect is not. He does have all out now. As the smite comes in, but the flail is going to take him down once again. Perfect on the floor. But I think that was still really cool. He got Peter a kill, which is great. Turret does go down in the bottom lane and in the top lane here, as we can see. The feats of strength go over to HLE, though, so now we're still battling for these objectives. And another one is going to be taken here by KT.
Yeah, Zeus is also Jax, and he takes half of the inner. You know, Cassante mains know that's not 100% necessary.
No, it's not what it's about. Is now BDD could be in a little bit of trouble. Delight maybe going a little further than he needs to. BDD finding 2 with the shockwave, now trying to get out, but the counter-strike should stop him. Permafrost comes in, Peanut just going to do a bit of a fadeaway on that one. And that is a kill onto the mid laner.
For Hanwha Life, and their side lane pressure is so real.
Yeah.
And KT, they're pushing a little bit with the Cassante, but it just doesn't hit the same. They will be able to grab this dragon, though, as Hanwha Life do relinquish control after that pick in the bottom lane.
Look at that. Like, they can get themselves a charge because it was put down in a pretty awkward spot. Perfect in position, though. And now it's Peter. Has a bit of a charge opportunity. Breaks open the turret. And that is going to put KT within touching distance of the gold. Going to be relevant.
Uh-oh.
As Audia Peanut getting hit by the Zenith Blade. Another shockwave connecting onto 2 because going down so low, he's going to need to go untargetable soon. And he just isn't going to be able to. That is going to be the Rise picking up the kill, and now Counter-Strike right on top of Docdom. Zeus, do they have the CC for him? That's the question. The answer is absolutely not. Peter gonna have to flash out of the way, and he does do so. But HLE demonstrating that, yeah, they're in a pretty good position this game. Now looking for an Otacon themselves. This could be the game broken open.
I thought I mentioned it earlier. You know, the Sejuani's not the one that the Fury normally wants to kill. Because did try his best, and Peanut survives, which means he's geared to smite this. There's no KT around this Otacon. It's disaster after Delight is able to chase down with his ultimate as well. There was no getting out of there for KT after such a heavy commitment. They could have been happy with just the turret.
I don't know whether they're going to be able to do anything about that, as they are at least rotating over. Zeka might be in a little bit of trouble. Remember, can withdraw, so isn't exactly the end of the world. But still, giving away this is not a huge deal.
It's not a huge deal, but just the power of that Rise push. Jack's pushing mid at the same time. Rise, they barely defend the turret, but it means it's a free dragon. Zeus wants more.
Oh dear. Docdom in a little bit of trouble here. Chains of Corruption go wide once again. Oh, it's a decent shield, but not quite enough. And Zeus, he doesn't even have to withdraw.
He will withdraw, you know, by pressing B, but yeah, not a technical withdrawal.
Yeah.
And, you know,
Docdom's like, dead again.
I'm going to finish the job I started on this turret. You chase down one solo laner, the other one pops up, and you chase down the other solo laner fast, and as soon as you deal with one, another one creeps up. Oh, we push the Jax back. Uh-oh. Zek is back in the mid lane, and now this turret's going down. It's just a great macro game here from HLE.
It's really difficult. You mentioned this already, that HLE still is right now, but it doesn't matter. Grabs a couple of kills, has recently added a few extra ones on top of that at the same time. And now he's looking to fight BDD. Let's see whether Peter and Cuz are going to be enough to stop this Jax from destroying them. The Youngblood comes in. Delight now finds himself in front of 3 people. BDD going to get stabbed as the Pantheon is going to go down, but he sacrifices himself for it. Sidestep there on the piercing arrow is good, as Cuz will find the gap close.
So, you know, pushing them off is one thing, but doing anything after that, when Zeus isn't showing, you gotta be scared.
Oh dear, Cuz down to half health immediately. Permafrost not going to be doing too much there as Docdom, another Captain Jack. That's going to work out. Chains of Corruption again going wide. And Docdom actually some smooth footwork there as in goes Peter. I don't know about that, but still, they're going to force Zeus to use his Zhonya's one more time. Peanut going aggressive, but it's Peter that goes down. Zeus tries to dive in. This guy is immortal. As Perfect, he goes all out, and that should be able to get him. Never mind! He is actually impossible to kill as HLE are now underneath turrets. BDD had just respawned, it feels like, and is dead once again. That's an ace, and the first stand champs, I think, are looking to win their first series of the LCK 2025.
Man, what a game from Zeus on the Jax. That, ladies and gentlemen, is your greatest top laner of all time, and he's not done yet. He's got one more structure to kill, Atlas.
And it's a Leona. Oh, wait, no, the Nexus. That's what you were talking about. That is going to go down.
Yeah, it's a trade-off of how strong Alistar is into Rel and some of the Rel engages and how you can just straight up deny. You can even deny Nefiri engages if played correctly really well with this pick. But yeah, the trade-off is the laning phase, especially into a Corki. Still extremely healthy as well as mana healthy, means that Yukao could potentially look to do this again. Now, here comes Owner and Keria.
I think Yukao may need to use some abilities. He flashes, Sponge is here, but Yukao is really dead. That is going to be first blood going over to Owner. And just a little greedy is good old UCal.
Oh,
even
UCal,
using the flash.
Been in this league for so long. You know, you took a little break, but the faker taunt got you really.
Grubs are spawning, but he's in the bottom lane without teleport, so never mind. That's not going to really pay too much of a difference here, as Ona now in trouble. Only level 5 as Sponge goes untargetable, but Ona's very targetable. It's UCal that grabs that kill here as Carrier has to get out of there, and these Grubs belong to DRX.
Here for DRX, but as you mentioned, arguably more importantly, Grubs going over as well. Denying Grubs from an Azir always feels really good.
Yeah. Doran now Sponge throwing some daggers around. Doran was on the mine because he's in the top lane without Equalizer available. So won't be able to affect this fight here as UCal once again softening up carry. He's only level 4 as that's a steal from Sponge. And Ona now trying to get out of there, but I don't know whether he's going to be able to. They just close the gap on that Crescent Guard as Faker looks for the Emperor's Divide. He gets it. Sponge goes on targetable, flashes from Carrier, and Carrier will be taken down. It's Andal against the kill, but now he's right on top of this teleport. The curtains, they've been called, doesn't land onto Sponge for the last bullet, and it's highway robbery!
And Doran TP's in for nothing!
One of the classic Carrier God plays, you know, gets the 3-man knock-up, then all of the AoE is layered. Doran might actually get there in time. Oh, it's a bit of an unfortunate situation for Grubs now for DRX as well.
Yeah, they get Dragon, they're looking for more.
Well, Carrier only level 5 here, and Sponge still trying to keep it interesting, but T1 should be able to get 2 of them. Good untargetable there as Andal. He's got other things on his mind. Shattering Strike comes down as Doran uses a very defensive ultimate. UCal still doing a lot of damage though, as we can see, as Sponge is just bouncing around the rift. Another teleport to come in, this time from Faker. And Rich has followed suit, looking for an angle here as this scuffle will continue. Faker bleeding for now, but it's Andal that's the target, and he will be taken down immediately. It's traded, though, as Ona. That's a phenomenal ult, but I think he's still dead. The bleed is ticking, and he's still going to be taken out. That is a UCal with a double. And this Aurora is going to be mega fed this game.
I remember, too, at the beginning of the fight, UCal had an opportunity to ult to kill Doran and decided not to use it because he knew there was higher value.
UCal.
What a sick play there from UCal as well.
Is this 2018 LCK Summer Champion UCal?
It seems like it. Also just continue to push this as
T1
reset.
-1 in the chat. Oh, UCal's going to basically be behind Faker.
Look at UCal's gold lead.
Yeah.
At even CS, so 3 kills now, first brick.
And full local gold for first brick. There it goes.
Yeah.
Now 1.5.
And a really nice position. Carrier blocking the entry here.
I've seen this one before. Sponge looking for another heist angle. He is in the pit. Owner is going to spot him out. His daggers are not connecting. Rich on that flank angle, but he's on that ward. And headbutt out. No Magnet Storm for you, Andal. Still Carrier taking a lot of damage. That is going to be the Drake going over to Ona. Somehow that Shock Blast is actually going to miss. That's going to force Rich to flash away. Some decent damage here for the Between Worlds, but the answering Deadly Flourish is too good. And there is the shutdown. Straight over to the GOAT as T1. They'll take the Drake and a whole bunch more.
You can follow up on that. UCal ults that group instead of ulting here. But I think at this point, the fight is clearly over.
Well, there's an Emperor's Divide. Rich cannot go to the skies because he's been to the skies recently. UCal is going to come down and see what he can do here as Doran is dead. Faker is under the turret, sets up his own, but I think UCal will have enough damage to finish this off. It's going to take a bit of time as he flashes as well. Finally, the auto comes in, and that's a double kill for the guy that just died. I think that's pretty good reparations there.
UCal taking that turret aggro doesn't do that much damage.
Yeah, getting the bone plating at the right timing there as well for Faker keeps him alive for that one extra auto attack, but the Sundist doesn't do enough, so...
He certainly can commit to it.
Yeah, he's pinging, and Andal is going to get headbutt pulp. Will need to get out of here, I think, and does do so. T1 will let him live for the minute. Speaking of letting things live, Rich is going to not let the turret live. We'll take that one down. The rest of T1 a little bit slow on the rotation, won't be able to stop the Jace.
From the tank builds of Jace we were watching a lot earlier this year.
Yeah, the Drake going to be taken here by T1. That's going to be their prize after they do push Rich away. Half on the Chemtech Drake. But there is also a Baron coming up. This is UCal. Oh, there's another headbutt ball. Carrier really wanted to pick up player of the match today, and I'll give it to him. That's going to be Ona taking down the kill off the back of the cow.
It's just on a ward there, and now they can get whatever they want. They want Herald, they want Otacon, they want this top turret. They're going to start with Otacon, which is a bit of a scary choice.
Flanking. Carrier coming in, looking for it again. As Sponge going untargetable. Rich with some Shock Blast angles potentially. That equalizer, great spot, but Faker just wipes them off it. Andal trying to stay alive, and he will fail.
Teddy coming up here. Rich has this turret to play through.
Oh, God. Well, can the Shock Blast actually land? That's the question. The answer is no, because he's going to be dead. Carrier diving in one more time, and the doggo's on the ground. Teddy, another one of these doggos, is going to be in a bit of trouble as Carrier is down to 1 health, but he is still able to walk his way out. The flash comes in from Teddy, and that should still keep him alive. Okay, UCal's flashing forward, does manage to take down the jungler. That might mean that Otacon is going to be okay. Deadly Flourish coming on in here as the 1-2 punch, and it's a double! Teddy, I don't know about that one though. The captive audience goes off, and I think Teddy knew that he was dead. Guma just comes on over and punishes. Andal's back up one more time.
Kill Doran, which stops any potential Otacon take, but Teddy does give his life for it, and we reset.
Well, Andal crashing forward, and the curtains, they have been called. Andal, I mean, he's just dead. Sand Soldiers will take him down. Sponge a little bit late on that on-target ability, but it might be enough to get himself out of there. Unbeknownst, as he's now spotted.
UCal is still big.
Okay, Carrier is going to try and get in there. Sponge going untargetable. Emperor's Divide is going to throw UCal in. He pops on over as Carrier likely to go down, but I think that's a decent trade. They've taken down the jungler as well. Not sure what Teddy was doing, and now Owner is going to be able to transition this into a Baron. Somehow it worked. I have no idea how that all sort of worked into itself, but it's, I mean, T1, I guess, calculated.
I mean, there's just so many objectives to take. There was not a lot of vision for DRX, but I think they really liked that game. Lemmings, do you remember that game where, they walk forward? And I mean, I don't know if they might just win the game off this.
Well, Owner once again going in, gets the knock up, and down goes the doggo. The curtains have been called, and it may just be curtains on this game. Faker picking up a kill to start this one off. Carrier tanking as much as he would like. Remember, they have the withdraws at the same time, as Guma not quite able to land that one, but he flashes forward, and that should finish off the kill onto Rich. Doran realizing that a whole bunch of his buddies are no longer here. Owner not going to actually get recalled because he did have a GA. He's got 3 items. This Xin Zhao is so incredibly large. They take the inner turret, and they're going to break open the base.
Yeah, Doran's just looking to grab an inhibitor on his way out here. Andal will be the first to respawn. Dodges the initial CC. Faker has the follow-up ult, and that is a dead dog.
Oh, man.
And I guess all dogs go to heaven, but T1 is looking to send them there again. I mean, look, with the withdrawals that they have, there's like no loss here.
So well. And Faker now looking for an opportunity onto UCal. Deadly Flourish connecting somehow. I didn't even see that. Double Pulverize comes through from Carrier. The layering of the equalizer is not quite enough, but that doesn't matter. I don't know about the ulti there from UCal, but I think he was just really, really scared. And who would blame him as T1 are bearing down on the base of DRX. It was a decent try. The early game was okay. UCal kind of got fed, and then it mattered about 0.
T1 are just so good at playing the map, so good at playing around vision. Their coordination is matched by very few teams in the world as Teddy is trying to hold the wave. He's dead.
I mean, he might actually kill both of them. Doran comes in with a scrap shield, so he's not going to die, as Faker was almost bleeding to death, but he's got some honey fruit here. Has augmented those first couple of items that felt underwhelming with an Infinity Edge and a Lord Dom, so he's doing plenty of damage now. Doran might need to be a little bit careful, I guess, but maybe he also doesn't, as Owner goes in, almost 3 taps. Sponge gets in another couple, and Faker is the one that actually finishes it off in the end. Equalizer just to celebrate, as Carrier looking for a bit of an angle here. He'll be able to get there, and my God, the damage of this Xin Zhao is obscene. And it's actually Gumayushi that finishes off a bunch of these kills. Doran, maybe move a little bit further out so you don't die to the Nexus turrets, but it doesn't matter. It's an ace. That's going to be the Nexus going down, and T1 in their first game looking pretty good. If Carrier plays it really well, he could have some pretty amazing angles.
I'll be honest with you, if you take the nameplates away, I feel like DRX has a giga draft gap here.
Oh dear, okay. Still, that doesn't mean that Sponge can press an R button because he still doesn't have that one available. One grub has now been taken as Carrier looking for a grand entrance angle. The charm goes wide. That could spell the end for UCal, but still looking for an angle. Flash out from Sponge as Guma level 5, but does have that make it rain to slow him down.
Splat on the windshield kind of situation.
Yeah.
But he flashed it. It's okay. He's good.
Yeah. So no insect for Andil, and that is a good thing.
Yeah.
3 grubs went over to T1, but that is it when it comes to the objectives. Owner looking to augment that with a dragon at the same time, but now Sponge has an R button, presses it, the charm is going to be found here, and this is the Ari-Vi combo. Not a lot Faker can do. Goes down very low, but Carrier, not enough to save him, and he's going to have to flash to safety as well.
There's certainly a lot of trading and aggression.
Yeah, certainly things are happening.
Yeah, I think it might be a ruinous game, with all the damage. No, not quite, but...
ruinous game with like a 9-minute first blood and only 1 kill here at 11 minutes.
Some of the damage done in lane and skirmishes does add up.
And it is worth more now.
You getting into position. I think T1 need to evacuate. They cannot actually, they will just be chain CC. That single target blow up is absolutely real.
Yeah. So Smite going to be invested here, and it looks like DRX are just going to give up the remaining 2 grubs.
We can't engage on them, and also we're losing plates, so they had to make the decision to back away.
Ooh, another Smite actually available here for Sponge, so he'll be able to grab the second one, but still 4-2. T1 going to have some Void Mites to help them out, and that's going to be feeling pretty good.
Really do like how T1 are using turrets and lane pressure to help secure these objectives.
He's backing and doesn't have teleport, so it looks like it is just going to be a give up on the dragon type scenario.
Potentially first brick here on this dive if they commit.
Yeah.
They won't though.
So it is just the dragon going down. Mountain Soul this game as well. Their way over. Sonic Wave going to go wide. And with some fancy footwork, but now Faker looking to try and take this turret down, and
the turret means feats of strength for them if he actually takes it, so it's worth if they just give this up. TP gonna come down to try to defend it.
Yeah, so down he goes. Faker should just be able to focus on this though, and you can see that is exactly what he wants, and there it is. Feats of strength going on over, and the charm is even going to miss. Faker, I feel like he has lost lane twice in a row, but is always the one that finds the most advantages.
By finishing it off, and that's exactly what he did.
Ooh, Owner and Carrier all diving in. There's a public execution, and Rich, in the blink of an eye, is just dead. Yeah, you saw that little head movement there, and the player cam, he's just like, well, I guess I'm dead. I don't know what I'm supposed to do there.
Pulling it out of some big turrets that T1 are killing with their grub lead.
Still connects.
Nice catch by Owner.
Yeah, it may have missed, in fact. As cease and desist does come on through, Owner will in fact cease and or desist the living thing, and Teddy's going to be able to grab himself a kill. That was almost an inner turret taken down, though is going to take the majority of his health bar, and yeah, he's not feeling too great about it. Does get a bit of a heal, as that's a great charm from UCal, but another public execution as Teddy flashes out of the way and will be able to survive. UCal grabbing that kill, big deal, to try and get some more money onto the Ari.
And he sees Faker on the other side. Like,
true.
I wouldn't mess with me back then, so I'm out of here. So we'll get more value out of the level up he'll get, but unfortunately he won't be here for this dragon, so it looks like DRX are just simply going to take their first of the game. And with a pretty tanky, high health Ari build with some additional resistances, if they keep stacking these, UCal is going to love it.
Because I often say about things written on tins,
yeah,
what does it actually say on the tin? Is we're going to have to hold that thought. Owner throwing Sponge out of there, delivered underneath the turret is slightly suboptimal, and immediately Sponge just goes down. Can they get the answering kill though, as Doran is dancing away from the fight? Charm connects onto Faker, but he is still looking for more. Chains go wide, Rich still at full health, and Faker may have overextended, but he's got another dash. The cavalry are coming down, but they're seen on the vision as the quickness dives forward, and there's the bullet time. They take down the Rakan though. It was an awkward situation, and the turret is also going to fall.
They do end up pulling it off, grabbing that turret. The game is still even. They're looking for another turret here to make it basically dead even in terms of gold.
Yeah, slight advantage, in fact, here for DRX.
So much vision control. It's really tough for T1 to fight into this.
Yeah, so much of this vision has already been taken away here, as they can just wait out the Sonic Wave.
Look at how careful Teddy is positioning. He's like, I'm way back.
Yeah, and he needs to stay away from Faker, because a hijacked arrow could be a real big deal.
Exactly.
For T1 as Carrier on that flank angle, and he gets into the pit. Now it's an opportunity to kick out onto Andal through Rich here, but it is going to be Faker that locks down the dragon. That's kind of crazy. Sponge goes in, but Rich is in amongst it as well. The bullet time interrupted pretty quickly, but DRX are just kind of melting. Finally, they find some angles, and Rich getting the huge heals as as he looks to exit. It was an even fight until then. Faker dives forward, looks for Rich, but he doesn't get it. The Infernal Chains, and it's UCal that locks down the kill. Orbit Deception coming on through here, but there's a right click, and Gumayushi's able to take down the Ahri.
In game one,
They're
looking
not
to do
a
it.
single ward.
Yeah, it's exact same situation as game one.
All right, well, the arrow is going to connect onto Doran. This Otacon is extraordinarily low as UCal looking to make his way in. The public execution is fantastic as Faker is going to turn up as well. He picks up an arrow. Down goes Carrier to start this one off, but Faker's gone golden. He's bought so much time, and Rich just cannot do enough. He's now looking to get onto Doran in that backline, but he's just a distraction. As now Rich flapping after them, looking for a bit of an angle here. Go a little bit wide. But yeah, I mean look, that bullet time just didn't feel like it did quite enough as Doran once again caught out of position. The Infernal Chains pulls him back, but he uses the ulti, and Sponge is actually the one that falls down. This time, Carey is able to keep himself alive, and Rich is trying to be the hero, but it's not enough. He's CC'd and put down, and now T1 will find themselves that advantage they've been looking for.
And we had the fight, you know, we jumped into it a little bit late. I'd love to see exactly how the setup worked and how T1, how DRX thought they were going to win that exchange or the engage there, but put themselves in such a risky spot, and Teddy is just not able to actually front to back with his team when the front line goes in that deep. And I'm sorry, that's all I got. You guys were way too far away. You were way too split. I can't offer anything here. And that's that. That's Otacon. That's Baron.
We've seen this before. But with a Mountain Soul available, I think Faker is definitely just a distraction at this point in time.
Yeah, I mean, DRX are playing like they're the ones who have the withdrawals.
Oh, good dash to get out of the way of the arrow. And in the meantime, it is going to be Mountain Soul. Faker will be taken, or at least withdrawn. And now they're going in. Okay, Carrier is going to deliver Sponge to the rest of the team. And I don't know about that one.
Yeah, I think Sponge was reminded about how his ultimate works by Carrier there in that moment.
Yeah, and also reminded that the rest of his team was off killing Faker as UCal going to be dashing away from Ona here.
You mean withdrawing Faker?
Yes, there we go. They were withdrawing Faker. Doran is going to try and ult, but does not quite manage to do so. Gumayushi just going to get them out of there, as Ona is continuing to chase UCal as much as he possibly can while the rest of his team are looking to win the game. Faker has popped back up again, and he is just going to teleport to this mid lane. Ultimate from Andal not going to do too much as Faker's going to land that arrow. That is no worries at all. Going golden as the rest of these Nexus turrets fall down, and T1, I mean, it was kept even for quite some time, but they dispatch of the Nexus immediately after finding just one fight.
These were some of the best highlights from today's matchup. Which moment was your favorite? Let me know in the comment section below. This is OP, and I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.